Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Battle Chef Brigade. Let's continue. So we had finished today, so we're gonna have to sleep and then we'll probably wake up with some
I'm so
element.
sleepy, but I made a promise to write and I'm gonna follow through this time.
So like finally, over half of the entire duration of the game, finally she decides to start writing. And then they have her in that same pose of her sleepwear, which then certainly does open up the question as to why they animated a different sleepwear for her before. Seems like the animator just wasted his time.
Dear Ma, Pa, and Kiki.
So yeah, she should have been doing this the whole time. It would have been a great thing to have Mina feel more mature. And I get what they're trying to do here. They're trying to have a story where Mina is immature at the beginning and she matures over the course of the events. But then they're also trying to have this grand world-changing event, kind of like the Lord of the Rings, also happen. And they definitely are not good enough writers to do that. Plus, in all fairness, if you were going to say that the Lord of the Rings book is also the story of like Frodo growing as a character and this big world changing thing, you also have to remember that Lord of the Rings is probably one of the best sci-fi fantasy, not sci-fi, but fantasy books out there, and it is super long, way longer than you can respectably believe would be in any video game, let alone a small Kickstarter game that is effectively an indie game.
This is harder than I thought.
And then they just skip the rest of the letter.
Mina, come quick, there's good news.
Like, and the fact that almost every time you're waking up, you're given a indication of some motivator, some action has happened, is a lack of trust in the player character, frankly, to just live and breathe and take a breath in the world. Like, the idea of sleeping is a calming, like, pause in the action event, and having to just abruptly break that with some major story changing event is not what I would do if I was writing. Also, we have the same problem where this door, there literally seems to be no lock on the door, or there seems to be no door in these bedrooms that the inn has, which is crazy.
What?
And see, like, she's in a third pose now of sleepwear, so it seems like she writes the letters in her kind of underwear, and then she wears some kind of like pajamas over her underwear, or changes from one underwear to another. Which, okay, that's weird.
I really need to remember to lock that door.
Well, at least we now know that the door is lockable. Yeah, and this sleepwear comes off as like a much more Victorian era style sleepwear, whereas her underwear seems to indicate the world is much more modern than that. And they've been really weird about the story building of this land, as it seems to be slightly Japanese influenced, but not really. When you get to the capital city seems much more Victorian influenced, as if there's just no consistent thought pattern or artist between the two areas. Like, her house, Mina's house, and her family's restaurant seems to be Japanese influenced.
Get dressed and let's go.
All right. You're reminding me of my mom.
So yeah,
Where are we going?
that we've now seen like 4 or 5 poses in this pajamas.
To Valkyors.
When she could have been eating breakfast, and then they could have popped in. Now I have to ask, why did they have us zoom in into this, fade in, fade out into this scene, and then have a combo happen in the minigame? So Belchior apparently has figured something out. Although it seems like he's cooking a dish that is just a king bean and nothing else. Whereas right next to him is something that looks closer to like a king bean tofu. And you can see it's like 40 points more valuable with the same essence, isn't it?
Did you figure out a vaccine for the monster virus?
I wish, but that one is going to take a bit more time. No, it's...
Did he finish the ambrosia?
You finished the ambrosia project?
No, I bet he hasn't done either.
My word! Can't you give an old scientist his moment?
Oh, sorry.
Well, don't keep her in suspense any longer.
With your help? Yes, you guessed it. We've completed ambrosia.
So ambrosia seems to increase the value of a food by 40 points.
An adorable travel size for now until I can get it cleared by the brigade.
Whoa! Congratulations, Belchior!
Can we give it a taste?
My dear, you needn't even ask. I've prepared a meal for all of us to share. One dish has no ambrosia, and the other does.
I'm so excited. So, how is it supposed to work again?
By itself, it doesn't taste like anything at all. But each spray on a dish heightens the existing flavors.
Okay, so looking at this again, we have a bone, a level 3 blue, a level 3 red on the left, but only a level 2 red on the right, and a level 3 green on the left, and only a level 2 on the right. So it's probably going to be that ambrosia is like a sauce that levels up 2 gems horizontally, and that probably is the difference between the 40 points.
Think of how salt accentuates sweetness, but this works across multiple flavor profiles at once.
They really have failed to mention like salt, sweet, umami, like bitter, the different flavors that we come to describe. And flavors, I think, are a lot like colors, that once you create a name for something like an orange, then it becomes something in humans' minds as a separate distinction, whereas for hundreds of years there wasn't a word for the word or for the color orange. They would just call it kind of brownish.
Bon appetit. First, the base dish.
So they're not going to probably even have a eating animation at all. And this is only the second time in this entire game we've even seen people actually, or the main character, eat.
Brace yourselves.
I guess
now for the modified dish.
I guess the judges have been eating this whole time.
Oh wow, it really works!
And you see a little heart above her head there. And see, that anime that I mentioned at the beginning of the series, where it's all about cooking, but then the judges taste food and then they basically have an orgasmic reaction to the food, and their clothes blow off and they turn into little chibi angels. They probably wanted to be somewhat different from that, and I can get why they're doing that. Would make a game like this rated more mature and than it really needed to be, but that doesn't mean that they couldn't have gone their own way to show more dishes being eaten and show people react to it. All we've gotten up to this point really has just been very stoic, judgmental reactions from the judges, which you'd expect from the judges, but even then you're not getting actual compliments or enthusiastic reactions to the foods.
I was curious about whether all the heightened flavors would clash, but it makes them clearer.
Granted, you must still start with a good base. This is not a shortcut. If you start with a terrible dish, it will just accentuate the bad tastes threefold as well.
So does it turn a 1 gem into a 3 gem?
Amazing.
That does open up the possibility that there are level 3 dishes, and that might explain why I keep seeing the same dishes over and over again, is that I'm just bringing them up to the 3rd tier of dishes because I'm getting the score high enough. And there might be a bunch of low level dishes like the king bean over there that you can only get if you keep the score below 35 or below 50 or something like that. Although if you were going to have different tiers of dishes and the dishes were just going to improve as your score went up, it feels like at some point you would have wanted to throw in a puzzle or a restaurant challenge to serve very low level dishes and add a certain number of ingredients without it turning into a high level dish that would be potentially more expensive.
Here, I want you each to have samples. When I can reproduce these results, I can give you more.
So I imagine I should use the ambrosia each
Thank you,
time.
Belchior.
Yeah, this is really cool. Thank you.
Now I just got another achievement. The distilled essence of flavor improves anything it touches. ×2 promotes sauces.
What exactly has been going on in here?
And here's Wise showing up again, so he very well may be our final challenger. Either that or he's a bad guy.
Pardon? My associates and I are just celebrating a culinary breakthrough.
This guy again.
Mina Han of the Windy Village. I challenge you to a duel.
Interesting.
Excuse me, but we're in the middle of something right now. Could you try again another time?
No, I will not be slighted one more time.
I'm going to have to ask you to leave. No one talks to my students that way.
So apparently we're going to be forced into 2 duels
When
today.
you cut me in line, you set off a fuse, and your time is up, Missy. As soon as I got to the registration table, a bird flew by and dropped a gross gift right on my luscious locks.
And that's how this whole game started, with the bird pooping on Mina, and that was weird. Now they're bringing it back up, talking about bird poo in a food game.
Didn't you hear that's good luck? I got some on my cloak when I first came into town.
If you hadn't cut, I'd have been done registering and free of bird droppings. Then I needed to get a place to stay. And who do you think took the very last room at the Regal Warren?
It does seem like she has just cheated fate there and affected other people.
A room that would have been mine if it weren't for you. I slept in a smelly old tavern filled with drunkards that night. I had to share a mattress.
Yikes.
The next day, I headed to the practice kitchens, and all the stations were taken but one. As I was walking calmly to the sign-in booth, you and your friends rushed past me and took the last spot.
I suppose we were rushing because we wanted to make sure we had time before the opening ceremony.
I was so unfamiliar with the arenas later that I lost my first match.
Is this fellow serious?
Yes. Yes, he is.
I'm not leaving here until you accept my challenge.
So it does seem like she affected him, although probably not in a legitimate grievance way.
You don't have to listen to someone so entitled, Mina.
Of course I accept your challenge. Why didn't you just ask me sooner?
Of course, Mina is fairly entitled also, so this is
Well, young
a
man,
dangerous
you best be
path to go
prepared.
down.
Oh, I'm ready. Iron stomach, you've met your match.
Okay, So instead of this, we will do this. And yeah, let's go. It'll be weird if this is all that happens for this day, but whatever. I mean, it really doesn't matter. Whatever excuse there is to get into the gameplay, I'll take it. And if they're forcing me to do this challenge now, then that leaves me with only one more person.
A highly contentious rivalry between two up-and-coming talents.
And this guy does never has any other poses. He just has a whole bunch of different outfits, and they may even be repeating those.
And fought hard for their place in this tournament, but only one may continue. Who will prevail? Today's challenger should count himself warned. The Iron Stomach's blades are at the ready. Mina!
So they call their Iron Stomach this time.
A brash new
He didn't even walk there. They're so out of budget here. They didn't even animate him walking. They literally slid the image. And I wonder if that might explain why he popped in out of nowhere before. And that might explain a lot of things, actually. I feel like this probably was one of those Kickstarters that had a bunch of like goals, and then they got the money and to feel like they had to follow up on those goals of adding more characters and adding more content, when they would have been better off being more nebulous about what the game was really going to be. Because if you are going to kickstart a game, you pretty much can't promise anything, because so much could just change in the development process.
I give you Wise, the righteous fury.
You won't last another day here.
Wise.
Remember, there's no way for me to be eliminated unless he
Not
just
much is
attacks
known
me.
about this judge, except that he appears to help those in need. The people of Victusia raise their glasses to Kevin the Generous.
And here we have two new judges, and I'll say that the lady in the middle looks particularly roughly drawn compared to all the other characters who are also very roughly drawn. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the artist that they had here was not so much a hired employee as they were the person running the Kickstarter, or very deeply connected with the people running the Kickstarter. Which that is also a problem with like Kickstarter games or indie games in general, is that you can have somebody that wants to show off their art ability even if it's really not there, or show off their writing ability even if it's not really there, more than somebody who wants to act as a producer or a director of a game, somebody who can really make the good decisions that I'm not seeing being made here.
Sup? I'm here to try a dish with lots of fire and earth.
So he wants fire and earth.
I'm proud to present the fierce and noble warrior, Vivian the Vagrant.
You usually don't use the word vagrant to describe a fierce and noble warrior.
Thank you, Chairman. I look forward to the battle between these two strong chefs. Strength is a duality. Warriors combine mind and body to achieve victory. Knowing this, you must present me a dish worthy of a warrior. Equal parts water and fire.
Water and fire and earth. So go heavy on go heavy on fire.
From the stars in a faraway tower. She rejected modern comforts to live encased in a realm of endless night. Not much is known about her, save that she favored a rather unusual carrier fowl. For what creature could withstand that brutal darkness except Scowl?
So we're going to be eating scowl, which I don't know what region that is, but it's probably the air region if I was to guess.
Vive la
But
Brigade!
what they fail to show you there is they show you the ingredients of the creature, but they don't show what the essences are of those creatures' ingredients. So either you'd have to have memorized that at this point, or you're gonna have to figure it out on the fly. Yeah, we are up this direction, and so that means let's get sauces, and there it is. Alright, we'll pick up one of these while we're waiting. And what else do we want? Earth and fire is probably not a bad idea. Iceberg turnip. So I didn't know where the other scowl is. Okay. So I need to get 2 dishes as quickly as possible. And that does inherently mean I need to probably figure out how to... I've lost my double jump, so I need to be fairly careful there. We might as well just kill this guy as it is. Like I don't know if I can really do enough with this as the thing is set up. Let's get out of here though. Let's make one dish and start it cooking. So we've got scowl feet, and we've got scowl breast. We'll start that cooking. And then we need another scowl feet and scowl breast, and then we'll call it a day. It is taking its sweet time as far as deciding whether or not it wants to respawn anything. Alright, so we got scowl feet, we got another wind fruit. Let's go ahead and take this one out. Scowl feet again. That puts us in a bad position. Alright. Do we want to go out and try and get scowl breast again, or do we want to do a little bit of cooking and maybe see if we can do this? Scowl feet, and then gnocchi fruit. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3. Start. 1, 2, 3.
That's it.
1, 2.
I bet you guilted the other chefs in losing
1,
with your wide-eyed farm girl shtick.
But better.
2.
Not as wide as your eyes are gonna be when the judges eat my dish.
So we've got like an 87 dish here that I think we are fine with. And let's see. Let's go ahead and take this and drop this over here, start that cooking, and let's take this and then start that cooking. We need fire and water, so do we have any more water things we can do? Sure. Water and water. Right. Is there any real merging here? Okay, now let's run this way. And we are still looking for a scowl meat. And that's all I'm gonna take is just a scowl meat, because I don't want to waste any more time. Add that scowl meat into that. And then do that. Alright, I'm gonna take this, put this here, start this cooking, try and synergize as much as possible. We've got all these gems, which we need to get up higher. Can we add anything more we want? Like, what are we looking for? Fire and water, so we could probably add a sauce to like this, and that'll get that higher. And then let's take this and put this here and get rid of the bone. Meanwhile, we'll cook all of this. And is there a reason to do fire and earth? Might as well just throw it in there. And then is there a reason to do fire and water? Nope. Okay, so we have fire and earth served with 30 seconds to go. And we can just wait here and watch this happen.
Gotta hurry.
Alright, let's also use the ambrosia. Okay. We're gonna take this and serve this. So, 2 dishes to really be proud of.
Thank you for your hard
And
work,
Wise
chefs.
didn't talk to us at all
Let's see
doing
what the
that.
judges have to say about your efforts.
But once again, we ended up cooking the same things, but we were also using the same ingredients. And it seems like he cooked a, like, dessert dish.
Righteous.
So he made a windfruit Fraser, interesting name, topped with iceberg turnip and windfruit medley. That was 150 now to 199. It's chock full of fire and earth. That's all they have to say.
Delish.
And we made scowl feet dim sum, topped with gnocchi fruit and scowl beast assortment. Once again, almost everything Mina cooks comes off very Asian, so I don't know if they were going to make Mina an Asian character, and maybe you're supposed to look at Mina and look at her as an Asian character. There's a lot of times where Asian characters, like Japanese characters in anime, Japanese anime, look very Western and white to white people and look very Asian to the animators who actually drew them, so it could be that Mina is supposed to be Asian and I'm just not seeing it. But then they kind of dropped the ball on a lot of Asian customs, for instance wearing shoes inside of the house, or the same shoes at least that you were used to run in the backyard and attack animals with. Plus, Mina does not come off as a particularly Asian type person in the way that she talks or the way that she reacts to her family or ignores her family or flippantly runs off to join the proving tournament. Moving forward, the fire and earth were supposed to shine through. Bummer you didn't use equal parts fire and earth. Okay. So I bummed that up with, which I could have probably fixed that fairly easily had I just thrown this back into the combo platter. But I ran out of time, I guess, or wasn't paying attention. I probably need to pay more attention to that. Using the same ingredients so frequently was a risky move, but you excelled at bringing out its variety, and that gave me 25 points. We've already won, we know that. You've got quite the carving knife. Every cut in the theme ingredient has been used. That's another 25 points. Delish.
My gratitude.
And so then he served seared squeakle tentacle with a side of Versket blood and iceberg turnip assortment. So unless this dish is worth a good 250 to 300 points, I've won. You've captured the spirit of fire and water coming through together to make an even greater element. Okay. If this was an attempt on my life, we can settle it with our steel. So he left in a poison. He also had the cracks showing up on the gems, which I didn't run into any cracks, actually, interestingly enough.
Impressive.
And here we have scowl feet dim sum, garnished with scowl breast and amarok ribs assortment. I was expecting great matching portions of fire and water. Did I get matching portions of fire and water? Not really. There's 3 level 3 waters I see, and 4 fires. But that still gave me 25 points for using every theme ingredient. You honor me with this meal. I have never tasted its likes before. Tasted it like before. I don't think that sentence was properly written.
Another stunning victory for the Iron Stomach.
Wasn't paying full attention there, so for a brief second I was afraid I lost.
Mina wins.
But nope. I was 45 points higher. Of course, also having the ambrosia does not hurt, even though it's probably not that useful of an ingredient item.
Well, madam, I've lost fair and square.
So the question is this the point where Wise is now completely out of the tournament?
Wise, it was a good match. I hope you know I never meant to hurt anyone. I was just impatient. Maybe you can start wearing a hat in case of bird danger from above.
That's the least of my problems now.
Interesting.
I guess I'll have to try again next year.
So it feels like Wise has just been added as a character to be potentially a male character that you would play again in a sequel, or maybe a reoccurring character.
This was your last strike?
I have 6 wins. I waited to challenge you as my last victory to make it into the finals.
So he's not knocked out.
But the thing is, I also had 4 losses. Everything was on the line for this battle.
That's weird because I thought originally the rules were you were going to do 7 battles. So that's weird.
You may be knocked out, but you're not knocked down. You're a great chef, Weiss, and you better try out again.
This is kind of a great example of them just throwing a character in for no reason and then failing to write any character development or have us have any reason to relate to Wise at all.
Perhaps I will. As much as I hate to admit it, you gave me the drive to make it this far. For that, I'm grateful.
This really comes off as the kind of bad writing you would expect to see in a like toddler's cartoon or something. It's like very, very shallow characters, very, very simplistic moral plays. Not something that you would have in a video game that, in all honesty, if this was a video game targeted to very young kids, it's probably too violent and it's way too difficult for them. It's too complicated with the puzzle system. So they don't seem to really know their audience.
Here, so you'll never forget me.
Based on this writing. So we have Wise's autographed headshots. When you're feeling down, Wise can turn things around. It prevents a knockout once. Which I don't even know what a knockout is. Does that mean you lose the fight or you lose the tournament, or is it being knocked out when you're hunting?
Thanks for coming.
And so, yeah, they just crammed in that character and that story, and now we just immediately jump to the main story element, which they clearly are more interested in than having us actually play the game. And I bet we're going to have a very long process here of a lot of conversation. You can just kind of see it based on the fact that there are 4 people on the screen.
It was a favor to Mina. Now, let's see this evidence.
To the point as usual. I agree, though. What did you find?
This, hidden in the desk of one Grandmaster Rixel.
Who is Grandmaster Rixel? At that point, I would need a picture. We probably have seen him. He may even be the person that talks at the beginning of each tournament. It would be funny if it turned out that the cuisine guy is the bad guy.
Their plans to extract samples from the Dark Realm.
Dark Realm, that's what it was called.
Samples for what?
I'm not sure. Most of these notes are scribbles.
Turn the page.
He injected monster cells with the samples he found there. And that isn't all. His drawings are identical to the mutated cells I've been studying.
So this man Rixel, he did start the outbreak.
Okay, why did he?
I don't think the Brigade would sign off on something like that. He's got to be hiding it from them.
Maybe.
Ziggy, you were right.
Of course, Ziggy could have also just faked all of this information.
Don't look so surprised.
We need to tell Razzle.
Razzle.
No.
Kieran?
I'm sorry, but we can't. You remember how she handled your expulsion.
So, Razzle was the one that expelled her.
Though I detest the methodology by which
Double
we acquire
button
this
press
information,
again.
We can't ignore it now.
Right on, Diamond.
It's not me doing it. I swear it's not me. I'm not that bad.
Kieran's right, but Razzle's already investigating the break-in. If we're going to solve this ourselves, we have to be careful.
We should go about our normal lives and finish up the tournament. Maybe let this rest for a few days.
But won't that give the mutation more time to spread?
But they still don't have a cure for the mutation. So unless it was a case that the bad guy, whoever the bad guy is just constantly injecting new monsters with the samples from the Dark Realm, it seems like the blight will spread regardless.
The Brigade's got the outbreak under control for now, but they need us to put an end to it. We aren't much good to Victusia if we're under investigation.
Then it's settled. We'll go about our normal lives until we're in the Brigade.
This is kind of a pointless conversation to go around in circles and say, hey, we found out this evidence, but we're going to do nothing on it. Instead, we're just going to continue doing the proving tournament and then get in the brigade and then do something about it.
A brigadier's life isn't really for me, but I'll keep myself busy.
Okay, good luck, everyone.
You too, Blue Jay.
Yeah, I'm really not certain that this kind of storyline serves the game at all. Yeah, the only thing I could think is that her underwear versus the pajamas are because it's a particularly cold environment with no heating of any sort. I mean, you see they have candles and lanterns, so that doesn't inherently mean that they have like radiator or any kind of central heating or anything like that, but the buildings themselves seem to be fairly well designed, so they probably have some kind of insulation. So all I could think is that Victosian nights must get really, really cold.
It feels weird to be the one to actually knock a chef out of the tournament.
So I guess a knockout indicates that you will be completely eliminated from the tournament. I guess that's what that means.
And don't even get me started with Rixel.
Although it would be a waste, certainly, to have that item equipped.
I should write about it, I guess. Let's see. Still no cure for the monster epidemic, but Belkior and Kieran are working non-stop. I miss you, and I hope you're all safe.
At the very least, we get a full letter here. A couple sentences of a letter. Now we're gonna have a high action sequence? Nope. They're just gonna let us wake up and be dressed and actually move into playing the game.
You both look really cool in your uniforms.
So they won. Interesting. So did they have to go through the trial against the 3 judges? I guess they did.
Mine feels a little tight. I might have to lose a few pounds.
It feels strange to be wearing them before the closing ceremony. People have already asked us for help like we're staff.
It's weird that the character has angel wings and then really didn't do anything with that. They should have just animated her with the wings at all times if they wanted that to be her character. It seems almost like there's a fight between the writer and an animator, or one animator versus another animator.
Well, we really are in the brigade. They just haven't thrown us a party yet.
I know we're supposed to be laying low, but have you guys discovered anything else?
Not quite, but I did do some experiments after Belkior went to sleep last night.
What? And here I always think of you as such a rule follower. A little time with the Blue Jays really corrupted you.
Hey, I'm just passionate.
Quite so.
Lots of dialogue.
Can I do anything to help?
Even though they changed the scenery, we still really are in one long dialogue sequence that's been going on for a while now.
I'll call you all together as quickly as possible. For now, the plan remains the same.
Which means you've got a match against the final 3 to win.
It's weird to say with everything else going on, but I'm really nervous about my match.
I don't find it odd at all. I felt the same way before mine.
Hey, don't sweat it. You're gonna be perfect.
Exactly. You'll be joining us tomorrow, and hopefully by then I'll have more definitive data.
See, and the question here is, if she lost against the final 3, is she not in the brigade? I mean, because that seems ridiculous. What if she loses only against 1 of the 3 or 2 of the 3?
Alright, I'll put all my energy into my match prep then.
Then it's the final 3 who should be nervous.
We better head out. It's nearly time to report for our first official assignments.
Bye!
So, we're in this weird position where it seems like we're not going to be... it doesn't seem like we are going to get to fight Warren. You got a letter today, ma'am? Thank you. Wait, did you find your glasses? No, these are brand spanking new. Without them, I couldn't bake at all. My measurements were so cattywampus my famous wind fruit cookies turned to soup. But now that my sight's back, I made you a batch. You're one of my favorite customers after all. What? Really? Thank you. I can't wait to try them. So we got the tin of candy. The innkeeper apologized with this. Let's hope he made these after buying new glasses. Successful combos get +2 extra combo fuses, which not really doing a lot with the combos, but like, do I want to get rid of 4 mana for extra combo? So I could do prevent a knockout once, just not really worth it. We have this. Is this a sauce? So don't use the ambrosia. We also have that, which we've never even used. Yeah, I don't think there is a reason though to try and just use everything and potentially lose because of it. Let's inspect this cat. So we find another coin. Let's do the puzzles.
Parm? Parm? Where did Parmesan go? Pecorino, where's your brother?
How goes it, Belchior?
I'm stumped. I thought I was onto something, but I'm going to need to do more digging. Got a spare moment?
So what is she even going to be doing now since he's already invented ambrosia?
That's why I'm here.
Like...
Excellent. Give me a hand with these tricky ingredients.
So we're just going to help him, I guess. Alright. Put that in there. And then we'll start shuffling these. And we'll get as much of the green out of the way. Do this. Do this. This feels like something that would have had to, at some point, like, it feels like you would have at some point needed to limit the number of moves, and they've done some of that, but not a lot of that. Okay. Well, if I just do this, then I think I can just do this, and then I can do that, and that.
How's that, Belchior?
Splendid. Unfortunately, it's conjured more questions than it's solved.
Still hating the cats in the background meowing the whole
Don't
time.
tell me we're not any closer to finding the vaccine.
My dear girl, progress is slow in the world of science. We're closer than we've ever been.
Yeah, you're always going to be closer than you've ever been. So apparently I can challenge this guy, which I guess maybe I haven't challenged him before.
How's it going?
Hey, about the other day, you mentioned that Brigadier's life wasn't for you. I did. Then why were you in the tournament in the first place? Now, this is a great story, but one for another time. Seriously? Dead serious. Blub blub. No, serious as a heart attack. Blub. Okay. What about serious as the grave? Glub glub glub. Honestly, the stanzas for wordplay are too high. You know what? It's probably better the less I know. This almost feels like a character that they wanted in a different game. Let's see.
Hey.
Just one more win and I'll be facing the final 3. Get all your most powerful items. Alright, go Mina go. Yes, congratulations. How about Robichon's Radiant Whisk? Roboticon himself used that, you know. That'll be 100,000 gold. Yeah, that's just a little over my budget. Back to the bargain bin. So we can't challenge her. We have a homeless looking guy. Interesting. Let's look at the shop while we're here. What's new? Let's see. Serve a dish that was 50 points by 1 minute into the match. Master expertise. Speed. See, and that feels like this clearly is something you would want to buy as a speed run in a second run through the game, because you probably could do that as a speedrunner, but you're highly unlikely to be able to do that as a regular player, and getting this so late in the game probably doesn't matter. Use 10 ingredients originally containing poison or bone. I wonder if some of these master expertise give you like 100 points or more. Here we have a focus charm that I think might be a reference to Yu-Gi-Oh, but it also could just be a charm bracelet. It extends your combo window. Here we have a crystallizer oven that slowly clones taste gems. So that's what we need to buy. Serve a dish containing 25 or more ingredients. Serve a dish that received a 5x combo. Serve a dish with 1 level 3 taste gem of each color. Yeah, there's just no way we're going to end up owning all of this stuff. There's just so much available. Thorn is playing no point in this story.
Tell me, girl, how old are you?
Interesting question.
21, ma'am.
Yeah, they put her as 21. Yeah. Honestly, I would have written her more as 17. Frankly, she acts a little too childish. Although, you know, 21-year-olds often do act like 17-year-olds.
Then you must know. Our jackalope antler's not appropriate for anniversary gifts anymore.
So, Thorn had this whole backstory where she gave a gift or got dumped by somebody, we don't know who. And it would be, I guess, kind of funny if it turns out she was dating the bad guy, but that still wouldn't really integrate the story well.
I can't keep up with the latest crazes everyone in the city flocks to from one year to the next. Whatever happened to sharing dragon's blood wine atop battlefield ruins?
There's another mention of alcoholic drinks, and yet we don't have any kind of pairing or serving of any kind of drinks at all, or cooking with wine either.
I don't think I'm the best person to give advice on these things. Kieran has a fiance and she's so trendy. Maybe you could ask her.
Perhaps I will. Carry on. There's a new assignment on the wall.
Yeah, that really does go to show that the hunting assignments could have just been a bulletin board instead of an actual character. Alright, so we want lipsards. Are these lipsards? Alright. Now, here's the problem I see with this is that we can't really... Interesting, what does that little thing do? It seems to eat the stuff. Interesting. But it doesn't seem to actually do anything by eating the stuff. This really is the only opportunity you would have to try and find more things. What is that, lantern fruit? let's go ahead and take on this creature. That way we know we fought like all the big creatures out there. Let's see. Let's pick up everything. Very slow moving flame there. So I want to fight this thing, but to defeat it, I need to not die. Alright. I'm gonna die, so what can we do? Oh, I'm about to totally be knocked out. Well, we'll see how far the fire flows. If I kill another lizard, I'll die. And then we have Hydra Neck. Just want to make sure I kill like one of everything. So I probably killed one of everything in everywhere except for maybe the Dark Realm, where we probably haven't even entered the Dark Realm, and I wouldn't be surprised if there are 5 or 6 battles in the Dark Realm.
About what?
If it really is a realm full of monsters we've never seen before and it's not something different.
A gift so rare it's nearly legendary.
Wow. What is it?
That's none of your concern.
Sorry I asked.
Yeah, Thorn still being incredibly thorny and pointless as a character.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Hello, best friend. I just saw the final 3. They look really tough, but T-Bot and I aren't going to have any trouble. I've only seen drawings of them where they look like demigods. Isn't Lieutenant Knife super tall? She is, and she has the brightest golden hair I've ever seen. I hope I don't freeze up in the kitchen when I'm facing them. They're only normal people with a lot of experience, just remember that. And see, we have like a new character here that I don't think we've even seen. He's just labeled as an elder. Lovely afternoon, isn't it? It's beautiful out. Brigade sure has its hands full with the tournament and the strange monsters. They've done a really good job at minimizing the situation in very little time. Everyone is working so hard. Must be the city loves the proving tournament, but I like the rest of the year more, to be honest. There's time to stop and smell the roses. I've never been busier in my entire life, but I love it. I can see a spark in your eye. Well, now, don't let an old man keep you. It's a gift to go on your way. So by talking to him, a taste gem in vegetables and fruits is promoted when collected. So if you were going to go vegetarian, that would be a very useful item versus successful combos. And then if we were to come over here and practice, I want to just look at this and make sure the practice field is still the same. I kind of felt like this area would eventually evolve, and I'm not sure it ever really did. There you go. As a squid, will you eat that? Nope. And it seems fairly obvious we fought everything else. Alright, so the only thing we could do here is take on a infected dragon, which we'll see. And that knocks you out. Interesting. But by knocking you out, you just drop your food and nothing else really happens. You can kind of see how they really couldn't go any further with this idea, because being knocked out, well, they couldn't go any further with the idea of having stronger creatures beyond the dragon. He really is just like the maximum. He is a heavy hitter. And you'd get burn damage, which you don't really get burn damage with anything else either. We haven't seen any kind of like poison damage or water damage. And his attack cycle is not really useful, because you'd have to get behind him and then do this to really be able to do anything. And even at that, he hits so hard that you know you're not going to be able to really win. So there we go. Meanwhile, hit almost everything. Earth sauce. And yeah, that's all I really wanted to test, is just to see if I got any kind of achievement for beating all of those monsters. So let's do this.
I best make use of you while you're still available. Soon you're going to be the Brigades. I'll still stop by. Maybe to eat. But you'll be too busy to help here. Trust me. I may have mentioned it to you, but 2 of my sous chefs entered the tournament this year.
Yep.
Only one of them made it in the other day. It's hard to see best friends separated like that.
We never met the sous chefs, but they were mentioned.
But he's here and back at work instead of fretting about it. I think this whole thing has made him even more determined.
Wow, he's taking it much better than I did. Guess I'll have to work even harder.
So we're back to this. And let's see, how can we mix this whole mess up? That was a dangerous move. Have to be fairly careful here to make sure not to make bad moves like that. Come on. Can we do this? There we go. I'm having a bit of a brain freeze. You need to move faster, or you're gonna end up regretting it later.
Oh, that looks great.
Let's see. That. And that.
Thank you.
There probably is a solution in a lot of these that are a lot less obvious than it seems. Where you could just move things once, and in that one move you would potentially solve the whole puzzle. Or maybe you just need to move things twice. Oops. Well, does that potentially eliminate you if you break some of the gems? Maybe.
Thanks.
44 gold.
Thank you, Pontita.
As if it would have been nice to know what "May the champions walk with you" mean. We've seen 2 or 3 phrases that have been thrown out in this game, and then they seem to have no meaning behind them, really. And I guess we'll challenge Wart, or we challenge this guy. But like, this guy doesn't want to be in the Brigade anyways, so if we challenge Wart, we'll probably eliminate him. So do we want a difficult challenge or a good challenge? I think we challenge the zombie guy, because I think that makes the most sense. We'll get some lava pepper even though we won't use it. And then let's go talk to Wart first before we end. I've been practicing making my cheap souffle every day. The judges better stay on guard because it's explosive, baby. I want it recorded in Brigade history and shared with the world. I'd love to see how you make it, Wart. I need to do more baking. There are so many pastries I have no idea how to make. Well, just call on me if you ever want to foster your sweet tooth. After the tournament, of course. Can't have you stealing my recipes. What? No, I'd never. Of course not, sweetie. Alright, so we're gonna challenge this guy. Want a duel? I was just about to ask you. I remember you from the inn, but I never caught your name. Yeah, we've been working with him the whole time and getting this storyline, but this line of dialogue seems to imply that you could have gotten absolutely none of that dialogue. People are talking about a man named Siegfried who tamed the slime. We haven't fought Siegfried before. Is that you? I guess most people just call me Ziggy. My pal here is a ghost, though. Slimes don't make for very interesting company. Right, well, it'll be a pleasure to duel, Ziggy. You got it. Alright, so slowly promote taste gems or duplicate taste gems. Honestly, I think slowly promote is still better. So I'm not going to change anything.
Your funeral.
And then we're going to do this battle, and hopefully it doesn't lead to a long talking sequence after this. Well, actually, we should probably just end the video on the battle. Let's see. Yeah, let's just leave it here. Since it's already been an hour in this recording, we've gotten shifted a little bit. it is very possible that after this battle we just get thrown into the final battle, then we get into Brigade, and then there's just going to be one final chapter that wraps up the whole Blight storyline, and then that'll probably be everything there is to say. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and give me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.